Let's learn about thrust and pressure. Thrust is a force acting on an object perpendicular to the surface. Okay guys, what does that mean? Well, let me explain one at a time. So if I take a box, fill it with all the type of forces that exist in nature, thrust is one of them. Thrust is a force. And so the SI unit of thrust 2 is Newton and the formula is mass into acceleration. The second thing that we need to understand is the perpendicular aspect. What exactly makes a force to be thrust? That is what we need to understand. It's simple. Any object that is kept perpendicular or any force that is acting perpendicular will exert a force, and that force is called as thrust. Let me explain it this way. I have an object on a particular surface. Okay. If I view this object from the side, or if I view this entire setup from the sides, what is that we are looking at? We are looking at something like this. Agree? So let me paste it. Let me continue the explanation over here. Now, we know that this particular object is exerting some kind of force on the table. What is this force? This is nothing but your weight. And if this particular table is leveled properly, it's horizontal to the ground, by default, remember, this will be 90 degree, is it not? The weight will be perpendicular to the table, the surface of the table. So this weight, which is a force, is called as a thrust. Okay guys, so do we see thrust anywhere else? We do. Say you take a green board and you take a chalk. You push the chalk against the board perpendicular to the board. So here too the force, the push, is perpendicular to the surface. These two are making an angle of 90 degree, right? So this particular force is called as a thrust. Okay guys, so this particular force which is perpendicular to the surface is called as thrust. So any kind of force that is perpendicular to the surface is called as thrust. Agree? Understood? Very simple. So remember, thrust is a kind of a force. And what is the condition? The force has to be perpendicular to the surface. As simple as that. Agree? Okay. Next thing is pressure. Pressure is a thrust on unit area is called as pressure. So in terms of formula, pressure is force by area. To be specific, it is thrust by area. That is, in general, everyone writes this as force by area itself. So you guys see this formula, not this formula, but yeah, as per the definition, this is the formula. So what is this unit area? We need to understand each of these words, to understand exactly what we are talking about. We need to understand all of these words. Unit area. Let's understand unit area. Unit area is nothing but 1 meter square area of any shape. It can be a circle, it can be a square, it can be something like this, wiggly, 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 wiggly. Right guys, it can be anything, any number of things, infinite possibilities are there. But the area has to be 1 meter square. You'll understand this in time in the next video actually. So let me not go to that. So as a definition, it's a thrust per unit area. It's a force per unit area. So exact definition is this, but people do write this formula and they mean this. Okay guys. So what is the SI unit? Well, let's derive the SI unit. If you guys don't remember what is the SI unit of pressure, you can do this. What is the SI unit of force? Newton. What is the SI unit of area? Meter square. Agree? So pressure has an SI unit of force per meter square, or Pascal, represented by PA. Let me write the spelling. Pascal, it's named after a scientist, and so we can write it as capital letter P and A. So these are all the possibilities. Again, you can write any one of this, all are right. Okay, we'll understand about pressure in the next video a lot more. For now, you guys need to understand The thrust is a kind of a force wherein the force has to be perpendicular to the surface. And so the SI unit will be Newton and the formula will be mass into acceleration itself. Okay guys. Next, pressure is nothing but thrust on a unit area. So the formula will be force per area, force per unit area, that is. So force by area by default will give you pressure, and the SI unit is Newton per meter square, or Pascal if not P, stands for Pascal again. So all of this you guys have to write, including the example and everything. Okay, so perpendicular aspect. Agree? You guys have to know all of this. Please pause and write all of this.